is nothing that you can do to change your cup size more than strength training. We're doing this. And strength training is what does it, you know? It will augment many things in your life, including your capacity including your capacity to take on pain. We are back. JT, welcome back again, man. Thanks so much for being here. We got an awesome, really cool episode on pain, and we're going to blitz this one here because we're going to talk about all things pain and help people understand what pain is not, and then most specifically, what can they do about it to help themselves overcome whatever pain that they're dealing with once and for all. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome, man. No, this is something I'm so passionate about this. I remember I made an Instagram post like 3 weeks ago with a hook that said, if I could only teach one thing to the world, what would it be? And I thought about it for a while, and it's pain science, because I think pain is a universal human experience. It's something that we're all going to go through at some point in our lives, likely some pretty bad pain, but very, very, very few of us know what pain actually is, and how to treat it, what to do about it. And I just feel like it's our responsibility as rehab professionals, as doctors, to educate people on this, because it is so powerful to know what pain is, why you're having it, and then what to do about it. So no, I'm so excited for this episode, man. We're gonna riff on this one, man. I'm gonna nerd out so hard, dude.
Let's go. I can't wait.
I'm so pumped.
I can't wait, dude.
Let's
All
do
right,
it,
so
dude.
let's get right into it.
Yeah, man.
Tell me on the nerdy level what pain is. Let's try to make it digestible for the audience who might not have a medical background. But tell me physiologically, what's going on when I feel pain? What's actually happening here?
Yeah. First, pain is super complex, guys. It's something that we as doctors are going to continue to learn new things about every day. So just know that as much as we try to explain this, even we are still learning about it, and just understand the complexities here. But in my way of understanding it, the easiest, it's knowing that pain is protective. And that's how I'm going to kind of layer this talk, is pain is in our DNA to protect us. There's a reason that we have pain, and it's actually, I think about it as a good thing. I'm trying to reframe your mind around pain right now. Pain is there to protect you from further injury. The classic example would be putting your finger on a hot stove. Your sensory nerves can send the signal to your brain like, this is really hot. Tell JT to take it off. And so their brain is like, all right, I'm going to send JT this terrible pain signal, and that's going to tell him to take it off. And so then I get the pain response. It's created by the brain. I feel it in my finger, and then I take my finger off of the stove so my finger doesn't melt off. That's the classic example. And then in our worlds, we're not dealing with many finger burns, but we are dealing with other types of pain. So you're squatting at the gym, you feel a pain in your knee. That's your body's way of telling you to pay attention to the knee. Not necessarily that there's damage there, but hey, buddy, let's watch out for this, because something's going on here that might not be normal. Let's calm it down a second. Let's take care of this pain that's here, and then we'll come back to it later. So in my way, there's so many different ways of explaining pain. To me, in my profession, how I explain it to patients, I want them to reframe it in a positive light, so they're not so scared of it, and they're almost grateful in a weird way. I know it sounds, I'm not grateful for pain all the time. It sucks. I get it. But knowing that the pain is trying to protect you, it's that tough love cell in your body that's telling you to pay attention to an area. And there are different types of pain. There's an acute pain, a chronic pain, which we can dive into a little bit. But at its base level, it's trying to protect you from creating further damage. It's something to attend to.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up the difference between acute pain, meaning pain that's like immediate, it's happening right now.
The finger on the stove is acute pain.
Finger on the stove, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like a one-off event,
Correct.
Right? Versus chronic pain is something that continually recurs. It's something that maybe you've been going on that's been going on for a long period of time. By definition, chronic pain is any pain that's been experienced for longer than 3 months, right? And so if you've had the same type of pain that's been going on for a while, By definition, you're now entering into the chronic pain realm of things. And when we think about chronic pain versus acute pain, right, the rules kind of change a little bit, don't they?
Big time.
Right? And so the way that I like to use this analogy, kind of similar to your finger on a stove situation, is I like to think about an alarm system on a house, right? So we've all got like alarm security systems on our house, right? And most of the time, those systems are set up to where if somebody, bashes a window or they kick down the front door and the alarm's set, right? It sets the alarm off, right? That's what pain is. Pain is the alarm. It's like, oh my God, someone's breaking in. Something bad is happening right here. You need to wake up because you're asleep right now and pay attention to the fact that someone is coming into your house, right? That's what like a normal alarm system does. But what happens in chronic pain is actually somewhat different. So imagine for me that you could there's a sensitivity dial on your alarm system on your house, and you could dial up that sensitivity to where if the wind blows too hard, right? Or someone knocks on the door or a leaf falls on the roof, that now the alarm system's going off, right? ADT's been called, cops are coming because the wind blew a little bit too hard, right? That's what happens in our body during chronic pain. So the craziest thing occurs is to where some type of event that might be on the scale of someone knocking on the door or the wind blowing too hard is now setting off that alarm and telling our body, hey, something is wrong here. When in reality, it's actually not wrong. And so what can happen is that our brain and our body can get a little bit confused in terms of trying to understand what's the difference between a real threat to our safety and something that is actually being overly sensitized, something that we're paying too much attention to. Mm-hmm. So you said it's the, hey buddy, pay attention here. Mm-hmm. But then it's now you've got that annoying little brother that's like, hey, pay attention to me, pay attention
that was
to me.
me.
Hey, right? And that's doing that all the time, right? And now you're living in constant pain, right? And the reality ends up being is that there's not continual tissue damage that's happening, but there's continual tissue sensitivity that's occurring, right? Mm-hmm. And so understanding the difference between those things, we treat those things very, very differently, right? We'll treat an acute pain very differently from a chronic pain, and understanding how to kind of to do that dance is an important piece of this. Mm-hmm. And so that's one extra layer that I like to add when I'm talking about pain to patients is understanding, hey, if you've been going on with this for a long time, this is occurring here. Mm-hmm. And what's wild is there's this thing that in your brain called the homunculus, right? Which is your body's mapping of the brain. And we have a homunculus that is designed for movement. So we've got a motor side and then we have a sensory side. So we have something that feels and something that does. What's wild is that the homunculus, so the actual map, the brain's map of the body that it has, the thing that tells it with your eyes closed, that this is your pointer finger. Just with your eyes, without even looking at it, your brain knows that your pointer finger is here. Mm-hmm. That starts to get smudged. It starts to get blurry. And so patients dealing with chronic pain actually have a lesser understanding of what their body actually looks like in space, which is a wild concept. And so that's one of the things that when we're dealing with chronic pain, we actually have to start to rewire that. We have to get somebody's understanding of what their body is and how it moves. We have to start to get that to go back to normal versus staying in this like smudgy kind of confused state, which again, to your point about us learning more and more about this all the time, that literally still breaks my brain sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like what the implications for that are still so beyond what I think I can currently comprehend. Yeah. But it's an important thing to recognize and realize that your brain is undergoing physical changes mm-hmm. when you've been in pain mm-hmm. for longer than 3 months. Mm-hmm. So the expectation that is going to magically reverse mm-hmm. in an instant, we gotta readjust our expectations there, right? Because it's going to take some time to get that process to move back to normal again.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, man. The time that you've had the pain is such a dependent factor on the time that it's going to take to heal. It's a very generalized example, but I have been told that an easy way to explain to patients that are asking how long do you think this is going to take, a general timeline could be somewhere around the amount of time that they've had the pain to truly get over it, not just understand it, not just have a little bit of relief, but to fully get that relief where they're like, I feel like my old self again. Like if you've had pain for 6 months, it might take 6 months to get to 100%. Not to say that you're not going to see progress along the way, but that's if you're looking for a generalized way of thinking about the effect that time has on your ability to heal. That's an easy way to kind of think about it in terms of how the brain changes. But the good news is how plastic the brain is. The brain does have the ability to train and to change its neurochemistry, whatever you want to call it. So just know that it can heal, but it's gonna take some time, and that's okay.
Yeah. And by plastic, you really mean flexible, right?
Yeah, it's just
like
able to move. It's able to change. It's amazing. Like the body is so brilliant. Like so much of this podcast is going to be about just how incredible your body is. I am still blown away by all the research that I learned about it, and the brain being the most amazing thing in the world. It's still the most incredible invention ever. I'm hoping that a lot of people get that out of this podcast, is just how amazing your body is and how to trust it. So we're going to dive into that with talking a little bit more about how to get over pain and things like that. So
let's talk about what are certain things that lead somebody to being in pain, right? On a previous episode, we were talking about looking at at imaging, right? Like an MRI or an X-ray, something like that, and looking at it, a physical thing, and seeing like, look at this. This is why you have pain. But we know it's more than just that, because so many times we see things on an X-ray or an MRI that are not painful at all. They're completely asymptomatic. So when you're trying to, when you have a patient in front of you and you're trying to suss out, okay, what are the things that are leading to this person being in pain? What are some of the things that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to hear this approach a lot, but it's the biopsychosocial approach that I take with patients. So the biological side is not something that we say doesn't matter. Absolutely, if there's tissue damage, that can cause pain, but a lot of times what's missed is a psychosocial approach to pain too. So thinking about the fear avoidant patterns that they might have developed from being told that their body is broken, or they're not meant to be a runner, or they shouldn't be doing these things, or it's going to cause pain. That creates this fear in them that can then exacerbate the pain, because then they think that every time that they move that they're going to create pain, and your brain creates this pathway to that one point in your body that just expects pain. There's just this line that it's created, so that expectation of pain could be a reason that your brain is creating it, going back to the chronic pain state. And then the social part of this, if you feel like you don't have much support, if you don't have anyone to talk to about this, if you don't let this pain out, this physical pain be known, that can create some internal anxiety, increase cortisol in your body, which is inflammatory. And so all of these things, there's just so many factors of pain. So I'm always looking at that when I'm talking about pain, is what are all of the factors? Let's get all of them on the table. Talk to me about your life. Talk to me about everything going on. And then we can start to break down why they're having this much amount of pain for something that shouldn't be causing this much pain. So I try to create a picture for them that helps them understand that the things that they're doing physically aren't that dangerous. They should not be causing this much pain. There is a reason that it's happening, though, and helping them understand that is one step in getting over it, but it's not the only step, which we're about to talk about.
I love that. And I'll use two analogies that I think are really helpful for folks. I don't know if they're actually helpful. These are just ones that I use. They make sense in my brain, but I don't know if they're going to make sense in your brain. So you can tell me if this is totally whack. Please feel free. But I use the analogy of the cup. We've talked about the cup a little bit, right? So when we think about the biopsychosocial model, we think about, that pain is multifactorial. Let's just say that there are many things that lead to it, right? And we'll use the analogy of the cup, that when the cup is overflowing, that's us in pain, right? So let's say that, you haven't been sleeping very much recently. Okay, boom, that's going to fill the cup up a little bit. And then let's say that you're really stressed out at work. Boom, that's going to fill the cup up a little bit. And then let's say that you went and you did an activity that you don't normally do, your body wasn't prepared or trained for. Boom, that's going to fill up the cup a little bit more. And now all of a sudden we look and now this cup is overflowing. There's too much in it. So our body's capacity to take on all these stressors, all these things that are placing stress on our body and on our system is limited. And now we are exceeding the capacity of what our body can do. Our cup is now overflowing, and now we are in pain. Because again, what is pain, JT? You said it. Pain is our body's
protective mechanism.
It's our protective mechanism, right? It's our alarm system, right? It's telling us, hey, dude, something ain't right here, you know? And so it is telling us it's like, it might not be actually the physical thing that's the problem. It could be the fact that it's like, yeah, you're sleeping 5 hours a night. You know, it's like, hey, you're drinking 6 days a week. You know, it could be something like that is this stress on our system. And now we're experiencing pain as a result of that. So I think having that as a framework is really helpful, that we have to address all these factors, because if we don't get all of those things in line, then we really are going to miss the mark. And I think ultimately the biggest thing that we can do, though, is that sometimes someone might say, JT, like, I get it. I've got all this stress in my life, and I know that this stress is leading to my pain. I know it in my soul that this is what's happening, but I can't do anything about it. I can't change my work stress. I can't change my home stress right now, right? Like, there's nothing that I can do right now. What can I do to get over this? And it's like, well, if we can't change what's getting poured into the cup, the only other solution is we got to get you a bigger cup. We got to increase your capacity to take on that. And the best way that we can do that is through improving their capacity, through strengthening, improving their movement, right? You know, working on those things that are going to then get our body a bigger cup. And I have not seen a single thing that has helped somebody change out cup sizes short of a
I'm not going to say it.
short of
Pick it up, buddy.
Pick it up. All
No,
right.
this is you dug this hole, buddy. I'm going to let
I dug this hole for myself.
hope Amanda's
There
watching
is
this.
nothing that you can do to change your cup size more than strength training. And strength training is what does it, you know? It will augment many things in your life, including your
Love
capacity
augmentation, yeah.
including your capacity to take on pain.
That's it, man.
That's it, dude.
I would love for you to keep
we
going.
are
No,
here.
this is
Yeah,
good.
this is good. I'm glad we're doing this. We want nothing more than for you to have a bigger cup.
That's all I want. That's what this podcast is about augmenting your cups, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what that might be our name.
That could be
We've
our
been thinking
podcast
about
name.
our name for a while, the cup augmentation.
That could be
That
it.
sounds like a Big Bang Theory episode.
That's
That's
right,
good.
man.
No,
That's- I love
I'll save you a little bit. That was awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Awesome,
that-
man. Well, hey, we
great.
got to wrap a little bit here.
Yep.
So what is one thing that you would leave the audience with as a take-home piece of advice in terms of they're dealing with some chronic pain right now. They have pain that's been either recurring, it keeps coming back, right? You know, reoccurring, and they're needing some kind of help. Like, what's one piece of advice that you would give them that they can take home with them right now?
No, that's great. I think the biggest thing that I can tell people that are going through pain, number one, is to educate yourself about what it is, what you just did. If you listen to this episode, that's step one. And then step two is going the extra step. I think a lot of times in our world where we stop at that step, we think just by understanding it, that's enough. All right, now it'll somehow get better. No, there's still pain there. Do something about it. What are you going to do about it? And that's where the physical side comes in. If you're talking about a musculoskeletal pain, what Alec just talked about, expanding your cup size to be able to take on the stress of your life, whatever you're going through, get into a strengthening program that works for you, that you enjoy doing, that you can sustain. That is the single number one best thing, in my opinion, that you can do for your pain. And just pick someone that you trust to lead you through that, and you'll have a overall positive experience.
Absolutely,
That's it.
man.
What about you?
I love that. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would say is that one of the things that I aim to do with everybody is get them to their point of having their what I call the expectation violation. So they expect to have pain with this certain activity, And it's the moment in time where for the first time they no longer have it. And that is going to be the indication that the alarm system's been reset, right? That they expected a particular outcome. They expected that outcome to be painful. And they get to that point where they're like, oh my God, I thought getting up off the ground was going to hurt me. I thought running a marathon was going to hurt me, like whatever it might be for them. And they have that moment where it doesn't happen. And from then on out, they are now in the driver's seat, right? They are in control of their pain. Not to be too Tony Robbins about this, but they're in control of their destiny, right? They're in control of their outcomes. And if you and I can help get people to that point of having those expectation violations, then I think that is one of the biggest things that we can do for this world and for the people who are coming into our office. I mean, I think it's so, so powerful. It's that moment in time that changes everything for somebody. And so there's a lot more that we're going to do a part 2 on this one for sure. We're going to deep dive into this even more because there's a whole lot more on pain that we can talk about in terms of the steps to overcoming it and what that looks like. But I really am glad that we had this conversation as a preliminary one because there's so many good things here to help people kind of have a framework of what their pain actually means, what it looks like to overcome that. And then I think in a future episode, we'll talk through more about some granular steps that people can take from a movement standpoint, a strengthening standpoint, an emotional and psychological standpoint, all of those things to actually overcome that once and for all.
Yes, I'm excited for that one, man. Let's do it.
JT, thanks so much, man. Looking forward to our next episode. Thanks for being here.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thank you.